What's cracking, guys? Omar Yusuf here in my garage. You know, I like to collect subs, boats, but you know what I like more than those boats, submarines, submarine sandwiches, or even books? Not training my calves. And that brings me to the topic of today's video, which is probably, you've guessed it by the title, natural bodybuilding is boring. I mean no offense when I say this, believe me, but what I'm trying to say is the public perception is such that natural bodybuilding will remain a niche, has been a niche, and that's unfortunate because I think there's a lot of cool things going on in natural bodybuilding, and in general, untested bodybuilding is where all the fame and glory and everyone that talks about it, that's really what people talk about when they think of bodybuilding. But there is a specific place for natural bodybuilding. So I say it's boring because it's not bigger, it's not better in our society. We always expect things to be better the next year. You look at the 1984 Mr. Olympia and you want 1985 just to destroy that individual. We look at what is possible to be obtained naturally, and quite frankly, when compared to those that are enhanced, most people find it unimpressive. Why is that? Well, because it's realistic, and that's a dirty word when it comes to bodybuilding. No one wants to hear realistic when they talk about bodybuilding. Bodybuilding is kind of, I talked about this before, it's kind of based on illusions. Think about what you're trying to do. You're trying to make yourself look as big as possible. How to do that? Well, proportions are important, symmetry, we could talk about angles, lighting. Instagram, you can think the photos you post on Instagram are a realistic representation of how you look day to day? Fuck no, they're you at your best. So bodybuilding, in a sense, is an illusion of trying to make yourself look as good as possible. And so if you follow that to its logical conclusion, untested bodybuilding, where all the fame and glory goes, we talk about the Arnold Classic, we talk about the Mr. Olympia, the big one that actually pays so people can make a living off of it, all those are untested. So where does natural bodybuilding leave us? One kind of an uncomfortable situation. And I want to really get back to that, the idea of doing this for yourself, ultimately, which has been one of my central tenets of this channel for a very long time. I just want to compare this very quickly, however, to the IPF, Attested Powerlifting Federation, and how they were able, in order to change the game, bring some recognition to natural, or let's say once again, if you're not comfortable with that phrase, when we talk about tested lifting, tested lifters. 4 or 5 years ago, untested powerlifting was everything. All the records that everybody talked about. When you talk about Raw Unity, RUM was kind of the thing that got a lot of attention. But through a lot of individuals, guys like Candido promoting the IPF, and just overall maybe social media and a lot of other factors, maybe the notion that it was possible for everyone to do it, the idea that no matter who you are or what your genetics, at some capacity, in some way you can compete. Maybe locally, maybe at a provincial or state level, or maybe nationally, or even globally when we talk about worldwide competition. The IPF and tested powerlifting has had this meteoric rise. Well, at the same time, you would think if one natural discipline, or once again, if you want to just say tested, right, for the IPF, one tested discipline has risen, then natural bodybuilding, which is also tested, maybe would come up. It would just be the same thing where it gets some more attention thanks to a lot more people talk about it, a lot more people competing. And that really hasn't been exactly the case, right? You still can't live off of natural bodybuilding if that's what you do. Sponsorships, just the amount that they pay. Why? Well, we're kind of fixated, at least when it comes to bodybuilding, on this whole bigger is better. And we could talk about other industries. What do you think when we talk about fashion? What do you think about guys? You can see a girl that looks attractive, like just a hometown girl that looks cute, and you think, oh, like, yeah, like she's really cute. But what is kind of shoved down our throat, or what do we see that ideal or idealized version would be something like cover girls, right? Where everything's fucking Photoshop, everything's fake about them, and that is what we see the most, this idealized version. And so in ways, bodybuilding kind of follows that, where there isn't this room. And so much so that it puts pressure on natural bodybuilders to then become enhanced, since they know that being natural will only bring you to a certain level, some sort of hypothetical level, and there's always a ceiling that you won't be able to surpass. Temptation exists, the validity of whether or not someone's natural is always a huge concern, and that larger issue of just, you know, it's not as impressive maybe to the greater public, because they see these guys that look super jacked, and then you show natural bodybuilding and they look very jacked, and they think like, what's going on, man? This almost feels like a downgrade. And so when I say that natural bodybuilding is boring, I don't mean personally that I find it boring. What I'm trying to say is that a lot of people, or the attention is placed on bodybuilding because maybe that is what society expects. Maybe that is what subconsciously we expect, because bodybuilding in ways is an illusion. But I think that natural bodybuilding has its place. I think we can draw a lot of parallels. You might be asking yourself, Omar, like, what the fuck? Like, you're just a professional toner. Why are you talking about natural bodybuilding? You're just sitting here, you know, in your garage talking about books and shit. What the fuck, man? But the point is, there's actually a lot of parallels that you could draw. See, he knows. He knows, else he knows what the fuck is up. He knows that natural bodybuilding has its place. But there's a lot of parallels you can actually draw between this and the overall fitness industry. And I made videos on that before. But those that are enhanced versus those that aren't, the amount of attention each of those receive, both are putting in a lot of effort. A natural bodybuilder puts in the same amount of effort as a regular bodybuilder. The difference, though, is the amount of attention that they receive. So that's all I really want to say. Ultimately, you need to do this for yourself. And I get back to that central tenet. I wish there was a bigger, let's say, platform or more opportunities or more exposure for natural bodybuilding, that it wasn't a small niche in the bodybuilding community. I hope it grows. But that's why I think when I say that natural bodybuilding is boring, I think that's one of the stigmas or the beliefs that kind of goes around that prevents it from reaching that mainstream appeal. Anyways, guys, I've talked enough. I really must meditate next to this very trusty tree. This actually is my friend right here. I call him Tom. Tom's been through a lot of rough shit. He actually got struck down in cold blood. But that is the video. Thank you so much for watching the video. Thank you, buddy, for being here and showing your support. If you like the video, make sure to like the damn video. I'm looking right at you. I'm staring right into your soul as the lake consumes you, the fog behind you, as Cthulhu looms in the darkness. Like the damn video, and I'll be seeing all you guys, my rascals, in that next one. Peace.
Eat your vegetables, eat your vegetables, eat your fucking vegetables.